Welcome back, my fellow game developers. I know at this point you're probably saying, Michael, every single video you say this is the longest video, but this will be the longest video. I hope you're excited about that or not, I don't know, but this video will require a lot of tweaking. I did make a couple of mistakes and then fixed them on the spot in front of you, so you always know that I'm transparent as much as I can. So I'm not going to waste your time anymore. We are going to get started. Okay, so now we have a health bar, we have health, we have melee attacking, we have walking, we have state machine, we have everything for our boss, but we also need to add a bit of angry and regular shooting. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing that we need to do is we need to actually create points from which our boss will be shooting. And I'm going to zoom in on the boss, and the way the shooting is going to work is we're going to have 8 points around the boss. 4 will be the regular shooting and 8 will be for the angry shooting. When he gets angry, he shoots more. That's logical. Let's go ahead and do that. Right click in here, create an empty shooting points, and in here I'm going to create the first one, which is going to be 0.1, and let's go ahead and move it up here or right here to his right. Duplicate this one, and obviously this will not be very convenient, so I'm going to call this 0.1, 0.2, I'm going to put it on its head, 0.3, move it down in here, and 0.4, move it right here. Now when we will be creating our shooting or the boss's bullet, it will move in the direction of the bullet's right, so we will need to rotate all of these later on, but for now let's just duplicate the 4, set it in here, maybe around this point almost, and then again in here, the 6, the 7, and the 8. So there we go. Now we have 8 points around our boss. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and create the connections in here. So from the walking, a transition to the shooting, and any transition from the shooting to the walking. And we're going to add a trigger in here, which is going to be the shoot. And then up here we're going to do the same. So make transition, make transition. Let's have no exit time, and yeah, keep the transition duration as it is. No worries about that. Let's in here also have no exit time, keep the transition duration. So we forgot to also add a condition in here. So the condition is the shoot trigger, and in here the condition is the shoot trigger. And then going back, I believe we don't need to have an exit time. And in here also I believe we won't have an exit time, but we will want to play the entire animation and then go back, or maybe we will. Let's see. We will see what happens as we create the game, what we will need. Now the next obvious step is to create the boss's bullet, so I'm going to right click inside of the boss folder, and in here I'm going to create the boss bullets. Hit enter. Wait for the script to compile, and let's double click and open it up. And what are we going to do in here? Well, we are going to be doing the obvious. So the first thing will obviously be a float for the speed, and then we are going to have a private vector 2 or vector 3 actually for the bullet direction. Then we will have one for the bullet damage. This should be an integer. Okay, great. Now in the start we are going to set the direction of the bullet, and it's going to be bullet direction equals transform dot right. So right means, if we look in here, the red axis on the transform. If we go up, so maybe I did that too fast. So the red axes of the transform in the world space. So back in the scene, We'll notice that this is the red axis. For example, the bullet will fly to the right. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to rotate it like that, I believe. So there we go, we can see that we have it. We'll set it to 90 degrees, set the third point to 180 degrees, set the point on the bottom to maybe 90 degrees. No, not 90 degrees, minus 90 degrees. And we have this point right here. What should we set it? Let's see. So if you're not good in math, this is perfect. There we go. So 45, I believe. Yeah, 45 is good. For the 6, it should be minus 45. Yep, there we go. Let's change it a bit. So you can play around, you can do whatever you want and however you want. If you want, you can set all the shooting positions to be in one direction. Maybe like that, around like that. Yeah, sure, why not? So there we go. So it should be 135. And why is it 135? Well, because I've added 90 degrees and then added a 45. This is 1000. There we go. So now we have a perfect angle. And this would be 135. Yep, there we go. So now we have really good shooting points from our boss. So we're going to save that. We're going to make these smaller. And now we are going to go back into our script and see what else we need to do in here. So an update, I'm going to go ahead and get the transform dot position and plus equals the bullet direction times the speed. And obviously time dot delta time. There we go. So time.delta time makes sure that even though this is called every single frame, we are detaching it using the time.delta time. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to check if we don't have the boss in our hierarchy. So if the boss controller dot instance, do we have an instance? We don't have an instance, so we're going to go ahead and find boss object of type. Or maybe we should create an instance, I think it's better. Or we can get a reference to the boss, which is also a good idea. But you know what, let's just find the boss in the world. So find object of type, boss controller. And if he is active, and game object, and is active in hierarchy. So if he's not active in the hierarchy, then we want to destroy all the bullets that are already flying. Destroy game objects. So the bullets get destroyed once the boss dies. We don't want to have the bullets keep flying, or if you want, we can keep the bullets flying in the world. It depends on your preferences. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to handle the way the bullets will interact with the world, and obviously we haven't created the bullets yet, but I'm pretty certain that at this point you already know and have all the knowledge. So I'm going to create an onTrigger enter 2D, and inside of this onTrigger enter I'm going to, well, I wanted to say that I wanted to check for the player tag, but as we know, we will already make sure that the bullets only collide with a player and nothing else. So collision.get component, and we're going to check for the player health handler, and we're going to take damage, our damage player, and in this damage player we are going to bullet damage, send it the bullet damage that we have in here. We can double click and make sure that that is what we are working with. And then what should we be doing? Well, I believe we should destroy the game object. But the problem in here that I don't like is that if we hit anything else, it will not interact with it, so the bullet will keep on flying forever. So again, we will have to check for the collision. So if collision.compare tag, and it's the player, and then we are going to do this. And whenever we only have one line of code under the condition, we can avoid using the two squiggly lines. And why did I choose again to create the tag and not just keep it as it was? Because the bullet flies off, we want it to hit a wall to get destroyed in any case, because we don't want the bullet to always keep flying in the world and have a lot of bullets in the hierarchy. That will just take up space and hinder the performance of our machine. So finally, what else should we be doing? I believe this is everything, and yep, I believe this is everything. So let's go and create our bullet. So where is our bullets in the prefab? We have bullets, we have enemy bullets. Oh no, we don't want to replicate the enemy bullets. Let's go into no, did I go? Bullets, player, and pistol, rifle, shotgun. Let's go ahead and duplicate the shotgun. Call this one the boss bullet. Hit enter, and let's see what shall we use in here. Let's see the sprites. We can use one of these and maybe use the big huge red one. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's use the big huge red one. Let's see how that looks in the world. So back in the boss prefab, where is it? Prefab bullets player, let's move it to outside. So in here we have the boss bullet. Let's put it in the scene. There we go, this is it. What should we be do? Bullets, of course, it's on the bullets layer. Let's see, what else do we have? What shall we be doing in here? I think the bullet is just a little bit small. Let's just make scale 1 on the X also. And instead of having, let's change maybe the collider. How big is the collider? Nope, it's perfect. Let's see the player bullet damage. Obviously we will remove the component, and we're going to go ahead and add our own, which is the boss bullet controller. There we go. So now we have the boss bullet controller, the damage amount, the point of attack. No, this is a boss controller, not I was wondering like what's wrong with this boss bullets. There we go. So now we have the speed, which should be, I don't know, like 5. Bullet damage will be 10. Save that. And when we do create a new prefab, don't worry, this one will be removed, or we can just apply the changes to the boss bullet. So back in our boss bullet in here, if we scroll down, or choose this one actually, the boss bullet, we can apply all, and now we have the bullet regularly working. So I guess this is a good enough bullet for us. So I'm going to delete the boss bullet. Now we have it in our hierarchy. We have the script, we have the collider, we have a rigid body, which is important. We save all of that, and let's see what else do we need to do. Well, we'll need to issue you a challenge, and your challenge is to make the boss shoot. So first of all, create a reference to the shooting points and the angry shooting points. So you'll need to create 2 references in here, and this is all obviously going to happen in the boss controller. Then you'll need to get a reference to the boss's bullet. Obviously, you'll need to create a method that loops through all the points using a for each loop and instantiate the bullets. Then you'll need to create another method for the angry shooting, and you'll need to use the events to call the methods in the animations. So with that information, pause the video right now. All of this will need to be done in the boss controller, and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. So where are we? Boss controller. Up here we are going to go ahead and create a serialized field of the transform. This will be an array obviously for the shooting points. Then we are going to create a serialized field for the transform, also the angry shooting points. And then we are going to create a serialized field for the game object, which is the boss bullet. And I hope you did the challenge. I hope it wasn't too hard. At this point you should be pretty well knowledgeable with everything that we're doing, so nothing is really new. That's why I'm just going through the motion and doing everything really fast, not explaining. So I'm pretty sure you already know most of the things that we've done in here. Let's continue on. What else do we need to do? Well, we need to create the method that we want. So in here, under the angry attacking player, I'm going to create a public void shooting player, and in here I'm going to create a for each loop, a for each loop that will loop through all the transform point in shooting player. Oh, what? In shooting points. In shooting points. And in here we are going to instantiate the boss bullet on the transform.position, transform.rotation. So we need to make sure that we have the same rotation as we had with the actual shooting point that is instantiating. Then we'll need to create a public void angry shooting. Let me just copy this one and add angry to it. Always add the angry. And I know this video is long. I wanted to separate these into two videos, one for the boss bullet, one for the regular shooting, but actually I just thought there's no point to it. Creating just a boss bullet was very simple. We already done that, so I wanted to create two videos at the same time. So angry shooting points. There we go, we save that. Now in here you can add an extra mechanic, and I do recommend that you do that. It's pretty simple. Instead of having these shooting points and angry shooting points, you can just create one huge or one big or only the angry shooting points. And when we are regularly shooting, instead of a for each, you can create a for loop, go through 4 random points and instantiate bullets from them. This will be maybe a cool game mechanic. I don't know. If you want to do that, go ahead, be my guest. I don't know. And I didn't do that because I actually want to have the direction be in these 4. Or you can do that, it doesn't matter. This is your game, add your own things to it. So in the Skelly boss, I'm going to scroll down, and where do we have it? Okay, so shooting points, open this up. Let me just lock the Skelly down. Choose the first 4, and these are the regular shooting points, and then everything else is the angry shooting points. This is the boss bullet, and save that. And finally we need to go to the animations in the shooting. So shooting, where should we be shooting? Let's see, and maybe in here. So at this position we add an event. Let's just unlock this. What do we do? Shooting player. Then we become smaller, bigger. Maybe at this point again we add an event, shoot player, and then we go back maybe one last time. In here we shoot the player. So we shoot the player 3 times. Great. So save that. Now back in our angry shooting. So angry shooting, we become bigger. We should have more shots right here. So angry shooting player, let's become bigger. So smaller, bigger. Why don't we become bigger at this point? I don't know, but obviously we made a small mistake in here, but no worries. Let's make this the angry shooting player, bigger, smaller. Another event, angry shooting player, bigger, smaller. Yeah, I think at this point it's good. No worries about the animation. We didn't make it perfect. Angry shooting player, we save all of that. Now we have everything set up. The last thing that we need to do is we need to actually go into that shooting. And how do we want to have this mechanic? Well, I think the best way to do it is, let's say the boss is walking, he can't get to the player keeps running away, and after a certain amount of time he just starts shooting at the player. So we're going to do exactly that. I'm going to open the boss walk, and in here I'm going to create some kind of countdown or some kind of shot counter. And why do we need to create a shot counter? Well, why not a mono behavior? Well, because when you are in a state machine behavior, you don't have did I say a coroutine? I meant, why can't we create a coroutine? We can't create a coroutine because this is not a mono behavior. We can only create a coroutine inside of a mono behavior. So for that reason, in here I'm going to create a private float shot counter and a serialized field for the float shoot time. Save that, and then I'm going to go into the onState update, and in here I'm going to say shoot time is minus equal the time dot fixed delta time. What's the problem in here? Also minus equal, not equal minus, sorry. And then in here I'm going to say if the shot time is less than or equal to 0, then we are going to go ahead into the animator dot set trigger and copy this shoot trigger. Copy this shoot trigger, put it in here, close this down, save all of this. I believe we need a way to go back. So in here we need a way to go back. So we'll add an exit time and we'll make sure that we play the entire animation to the 97%. So let's see how that looks in the preview. And there we go, we can see we play, we shoot, and then we go back to walking. Okay, I think that's good enough. And in here we will also have an exit time at the 0.97%. We save that. I think on the onState exit we will also need to reset the shoot. So save that. And I think that's it. I believe this is all that we need to do. So let's see in the walking in here, what's the shot time? Maybe after 2 seconds of walking. And if we go to the angry walking, after watch time, maybe after 3 seconds of walking. So these are just arbitrary numbers. I haven't thought of if this is good or not, so I'm going to make this bigger. And as you can see, there is something wrong. First of all, we have a bullet in here, which is not good. So where is it? Where's the in the scenes, this bullet? Where is that bullet? Boss health. Let's close the UI. What's that bullet actually doing in here? I have no clue. Why can't I select it? Hey, welcome back. So for some reason I cannot find what the hell this is. Let's not worry about that. What we need to worry about is to change the bullets layer to the enemy bullet. Save that, and now let's see how that looks when the boss shoots us. I really can't find what this is. So he walks around, he starts shooting, and it's very bad. Okay, great. So obviously we have something not working properly. Hey, welcome back. A huge mistake that I made. Instead of using the transform.position, I should have used the point, which is right here, and the point, which is right here. Sorry for that. This is very bad. That doesn't look good, but there we go. Now we fixed all the problems. This should work right now. So back in our game, we should see that now when the boss shoots, there we go, he shoots 1, 2, 3, but for some reason the bullet that goes up isn't shooting properly. So what is the problem? There we go, we even get shot. Let's try to see what the problem is when he shoots up. So upwards there is a problem, and the way I only realized how the last one worked, like for example, look, we can use frame by frame. He gets bigger. Oh, we didn't notice what happened. So let's remove the pause. And let's see what's happening when he shoots. You can see that the bullet comes out, which is the like boss bullet. Let's see. Okay, so this one comes out, and as soon as it comes out, for some reason it just disappears. So what's the problem in here? Let's see. Maybe it's because of the collider. It may be. So let's look at the point. Obviously this point 2, and the collider, but it shouldn't be because of the collider, because, well, obviously the enemy bullet does not interact with the boss, or does it? So I've noticed that when I move the point 2 up, this does not create a problem, so my suspicion is that the boss bullet, which is on the enemy bullet, is interacting with the Skelly boss, which is on the layer default. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer for the boss. So in the layers in here, create a boss Skelly layer. And then on the boss, it's the enemy bullet. So I'm going to go into the edit, project settings, physics 2D, scroll down and make sure that it does not interact with the boss Skelly. Boos Skelly. Let's go back to layers, edit layers, and not Boos Skelly, boss Skelly. So boss Skelly does not interact with boss Skelly. Did that work? Back in here, set the boss Skelly. Yes, change all children. We save that. We go back in the project settings, in the edit, physics 2D, and the boss Skelly does not interact with boss Skelly and does not interact with the player bullet. We can actually remove all of these, honestly, but we'll just keep them. And now we should see that all the bullets, all the points fire properly, even if that point is inside of the box collider of the player, of the enemy. So now we shoot this guy. As you can see, he shoots every 2 minutes, 2 seconds, or whatever it is. So we look here, there we go, shoot, go in there, and let's try to shoot him and make him angry. So he is at 50% health. So there is a problem with the animation. So the problem is in the boss walk. In here it's the shot counter, and when the shot counter gets set to less than or equal to 0, we then need to reset the shot counter to be equal to the shot time, to the shoot time. We save that, and there we go. Everything should be working properly now. We then again run the game. Hopefully this will be the last mistake that we make. We shoot, there we go. We finish the shooting animation, we walk a little bit, and then we go back to shooting. And is it working? Nope, I don't think it's working properly. Something is still wrong. Okay, welcome back. So I wasn't sure what the problem was. It turns out the shot counter was very weird. So when we were resetting the shot counter in here, whenever we transitioned into the shoot, the problem was that it only counted down when we actually were in that state. So we only count down when we are on state update of the boss walk. So the better solution is to just move the shot counter reset, which is just setting the shot counter to shoot time, not in the on state update, but on the on state exit. So now the shot counter gets reset every time we actually go into another state. So in here, when we run the game, you'll see that now the boss wakes up, he shoots, you'll see the shot counter in here, there you go, 5 goes back to 0, so there we go, now everything is working fine. Now we make him angry. Now let's see the shooting, if it works when we're angry. Yep, there we go, the shooting is much more prevalent, 1, 2, 3, and I think one of them is missing. We wanted to have in the animation several shots. This is the longest video in the entire course, I promise you. So angry attack, what do we have? Nope, I mean angry shooting, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we shoot the 4th? We didn't shoot the 4th, I believe. That's because of the exit time, 97. Let's play the entire thing. So 1, save that, run the game. Let's see how that looks. And I could have just done this all off screen, but I really wanted to show you how everything is working. So I hope that is good. So how many times did we shoot? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, even though we're walking, I think that's good. That's not bad. We can shoot on the last time as we are walking. This is good mechanics. Our boss is finally finished after 40 minutes of recording. That's how long it takes me. After the edit, maybe it will be a bit less. So I'm going to commit all of the changes that we've made. I'm going to say, finally made the boss shoot after almost 100 mistakes. This is not something that you should write. This is for me to remember how much I actually made mistakes in this video. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you appreciate the transparency and me showing you everything that's happening behind the scenes. If you haven't already, this is the perfect time to leave me a review, and I'll see you in the next video, in the last section maybe, I don't know, where we will be creating the actual level flow from one scene to the next, now that we have everything in place. So I'll see you then.